12 days! The fire happens in 12 days.
Itsuki had died in a server room fire in Japan. Now he was a junior scribe in Alexandria, 48 BCE. He had 12 days before Caesar's troops would accidentally set the great library ablaze.
Timon, the library will burn. We must copy every scroll. There's a machine, I know.
A machine? You are raving, scribe. The library has stood for 3 centuries.
I am not raving. I've seen it, a press with movable type. It can print 100 copies a day.
Enough. Leave, before I have you removed for madness.
They won't listen. Then I'll have to do it alone.
Outside, the sun shone on a city that would soon burn. Itsuki walked away, not from the library, but from hope of help.
I need lead, wax, and a wine press, and I need them by nightfall.
Itsuki moved through the crowded marketplace, his scholar's robe blending into the crowd. At a metalworker's stall, he slipped lead scraps into his satchel. At a candlemaker's, a hunk of wax.
Now the wine press. The screw mechanism is all I really need.
He, accidentally, tipped a crate of clay bowls, and in the chaos, hefted the heavy wooden press. No one stopped him. By the time the merchant righted his wares, Itsuki was gone. He found Nala and Kensa in the scribe's quarter, arguing over a flawed manuscript.
Itsuki, you look like you've swallowed a storm. What's wrong?
I know how to save every scroll in the library, but I need hands I can trust.
Save them? From what? And how?
He led them to a forgotten storeroom, where the wine press lay in pieces. His plan unfolded.
We carve individual letters from lead, then lock them into a frame. Ink and press. 1 page, countless copies.
You want us to carve hundreds of tiny letters. This will take weeks.
But if we can reuse them, the speed later is unimaginable, right?
For 3 days, they carved lead type under flickering lamps, fingers raw and stained.
The alloy must be exactly right. Too soft and it deforms. Too hard and it shatters.
On the evening of the 3rd day, they assembled the form and inked the type.
If this actually works, I will eat my stylus.
The screw turned down. When they lifted the paper, the letters were a blurred smear of black.
This is madness. We have wasted 3 days on a fantasy.
Number. We learned the ink is too thin and the pressure uneven. We fix it. We keep going.
The next morning, Itsuki ground charcoal and lampblack into linseed oil, cooking it until the ink thickened like tar.
What if we add powdered acacia gum? It might bind the ink to the paper better.
If it doesn't ruin everything, I suppose it's worth a try.
The new ink held. When Itsuki turned the press screw, he felt the even bite of lead into parchment.
Almost. The letters are clearer now, but still too much ink bleeding.
On the 4th night, they crept to the workshop after curfew. Under a shuttered window, they tested again.
Shh! Footsteps outside.
The lamp was smothered. In the perfect black, 3 scribes held their breath as a patrol passed by.
Too close. We cannot afford a mistake, not with the fire only 8 days away.
By dawn, they pulled a sheet from the press, the symbols sharp, the page almost perfect. Only a single letter had shifted. Itsuki reset the single errant letter with trembling fingers, the form locked tight. This time, when the press lifted, every symbol stood crisp. Euclid's Elements, page 1.
It's beautiful. I've never seen a page born so perfectly.
Your stylus is safe, Nala. We have done the impossible.
But if the authorities find this, they will call it forgery or magic. We would all be executed. No one can know. Hide the press and every page. We only print at night.
They stowed the evidence in a false-bottomed chest, hearts pounding harder than any moment since the first failure.
If we are caught with this, they'll burn us alongside our witchcraft.
We carry on, because if we stop, every scroll in the library turns to ash. That is the real fire.
Day 8 ended with a single printed scroll hidden in darkness and the weight of a dying library on their backs. On the 9th morning, Itsuki cornered Timon in a remote scriptorium, far from prying ears.
You thought me mad 8 days ago. Look at this, a perfect copy of Euclid. printed in hours, not weeks.
This cannot be. The hand is too uniform. It defies any scribe's craft.
Timon's fingers trembled over the parchment, tracing the sharp letter forms with a mix of awe and dread.
If this device becomes known, kings will make it a weapon, or declare it sorcery and burn everyone involved.
Caesar's troops land in 3 days. When the fighting starts, the library will burn. I know it as surely as I know my own name.
A prophecy of fire. You speak like an oracle, not a scribe. How can I stake lives on a vision?
Not a vision, memory. I have seen the flames in a world that has not yet happened. Believe me or don't, but do nothing, and every scroll turns to ash.
I will provide a dozen trusted scribes. No more. They will work in secret. But if this fails, we never spoke.
Outside, the city hummed with rumors of Caesar's imminent fleet, and the deadline tightened like a noose before dawn on the 11th day. Itsuki pulled Timon into the hidden workshop.
Show me. If this is trickery, your punishment will be severe.
Nala and Kensa exchanged a glance. Then Nala pulled the lever. The press hissed, and a new page slid out.
By the gods. It's the same as the one you showed me, but I watched it being born.
His hands shook as he held the 2 identical copies. A sob tore from his chest.
Forgive me, Itsuki. You were right. I will bring every scribe I trust. We will save every scroll we can.
50 scribes, working in shifts, but we need absolute silence if the authorities learn of this.
We use the old scriptorium beneath the east wing. It has not been opened in a decade. No one will look there.
By noon, 50 scribes had vanished from their usual posts, gathering in the dusty underground chamber. The press began its rhythm, and the air filled with the scent of ink and hope, and the whispered countdown to the fire. Afternoon bled into evening. The underground chamber sweltered with the heat of 50 bodies and the relentless press.
Faster. The type on the 3rd form is binding. Someone did not oil the frame.
Let me see. If we notch the frame corners, the pressure releases faster. We can cut the cycle by 10 seconds.
With a small knife, she carved shallow grooves into the wooden frame. The next pull ran smooth as water.
That's a 10% speed increase. Every second counts. Well done, Kensa.
But the improvement came too late for one scribe. A young man collapsed, overwhelmed by heat and fear.
Carry him outside. No one speaks of this. We are not just saving scrolls. We are stealing them from fate.
He's right. If we stop now, that scribe's collapse will be for nothing.
They worked through the night, the press never silent. As dawn broke, stacks of printed scrolls lined the walls, 2,000 copies. Not enough, but more than any scribe's lifetime of work, and the fire was only hours away. A distant clatter of swords, then a scream. Smoke rose from the library's great hall.
It's happening. Load every printed scroll onto the carts. Now.
The streets are filled with soldiers. We'll never get all these through.
Then we die, saving what we can. Every page we lose is a voice silenced forever.
Under a sky turned orange, they pushed 3 carts through rioting crowds. Flames devoured the marble halls. By nightfall, they reached a hidden vault in Memphis, the air cool and still.
4,200 scrolls out of 700,000.
It's a fraction, but it's the heart of every subject. Mathematics, philosophy, medicine, the essentials.
You saved the seed of our knowledge. Generations will read these and remember what was lost.
Outside, the Library of Alexandria smoldered into legend. Inside the vault, the first printed copies waited for a new dawn. 1 year after the fire, Itsuki's print shop hummed with the rhythm of 3 presses.
We filled another order for the school in Athens. 50 copies of Plato in under a week.
We have become a legend among scribes. The fire could not stop us. Neither will anyone else.
Maybe. But every rumor of our success carries risk. The powerful always want to own what they cannot understand.
The shop door slammed open. 4 royal soldiers in Egyptian armor filled the entrance.
So, this is it. The Queen's eyes have found us.
The captain stepped forward, a scroll in his hand bearing the royal seal of Cleopatra. Itsuki Shindo, your presence is commanded at the palace. The Queen of Egypt would speak with you.
Itsuki, don't go. This is a trap.
I have no choice. Keep the presses running while I am gone. Whatever happens here, knowledge must continue.
The palace corridors gleamed with gold leaf and painted gods. Itsuki was led to a throne room where incense clouded the air.
So this is the queen who holds the fate of nations. What will she ask of me? Her smile is like a blade.
Itsuki Shindo, the man who snatched fire from the ashes. I have heard the whispers of your machine.
She gestured to a cushioned seat beside her, an honor rarely given to commoners.
Your press is a weapon sharper than any sword. With it, Egypt could spread its wisdom across the world, under my protection, of course.
Under her protection or under her thumb. She's offering me a cage of gold.
I will give you a palace workshop, 100 scribes, and enough lead to print the library 10 times over. No one will threaten you again.
Her voice was honey, but her coal-lined eyes missed nothing. This was a negotiation, not a gift.
In return, your press serves Egypt alone. No scroll leaves this kingdom without my seal. Knowledge is power. Itsuki, surely you understand that.
The offer hung in the perfumed air. Wealth, safety, legacy for the price of a principle he had never spoken aloud.
Your Majesty, knowledge is not a weapon to be hoarded. It is a fire that must spread freely, or it will die.
You refuse me. Then you refuse Egypt and its protection.
She is not used to being denied. I have just made myself an enemy.
1 week. I give you 1 week to reconsider. After that, your workshop will be nothing but ashes, and you along with it.
With a flick of her hand, the guards moved to escort him out. The audience was over.
1 week. I must ensure that even if I perish, the press will not.
He returned to the shop as dusk fell. The familiar scent of ink and oil, a fragile comfort.
The Queen gave me 7 days. After that, this place will be stormed. We have to work faster than ever before.
Faster? What for? We already produce more scrolls than any scriptorium.
Not to print scrolls, to print our escape. We're going to copy the press design and send it where even Cleopatra cannot reach.
Nala broke the silence with a heavy exhale, his skepticism crumbling into resolve.
You are going to need people who can be trusted with a secret that could cost their lives. That list is short.
I know scholars in Tyre and Athens who die before betraying a friend. They've been asking about the press for months.
We need 10, spread across the Mediterranean, Rome, Carthage, Antioch. Each one carries a complete diagram and instruction set.
If even one betrays us, Cleopatra's soldiers will be at every harbor before dawn.
That's why we don't tell them what they're carrying. They'll receive sealed cases with instructions to open only at their destination.
Through the night, they drafted precise drawings, the screw mechanism, the form lock, the ink formula.
I'll carve a small typeset for each package, enough to demonstrate the principle without giving away everything.
By morning, 10 leather satchels lay on the bench, each containing a sealed scroll and a sample of printed text.
Now we only need 10 brave souls, and a little luck that the Queen's spies aren't already at the gates.
Over 3 days, scholars slipped in at dawn. Itsuki handed each a satchel, and they vanished into different harbors.
Remember, the seal must not break until you reach your city. Your life and the press's future ride with you.
By the 5th day, 9 names were crossed off a wax tablet. Nala tapped the final entry.
Only the scholar from Rhodes. He should have been here by noon.
The door burst open. Not the scholar, but a breathless apprentice. A patrol was searching the alley.
Get the satchel. Hide the scholar in the back. Now.
They crammed the terrified scholar behind a false wall of scrolls as boots thudded past the door.
If they had searched one more corner, but we are out of time.
The scholar escaped at dusk. Then the dismantling began. Screws, frames, and type pieces were packed onto a cart.
We leave nothing for the Queen but an empty room, and a message she will not forget.
With one last sweep, the workshop stood empty. Presses packed, ink pots gone. Nothing remained but dust and memory.
Nala, Kensa. Go now, take the last cart to the vault. I will follow when I am done.
You cannot stay behind. They will kill you on sight.
They will find an empty room. But first, the queen must receive my reply. It is the only way to protect the others.
Then let me stay with you. I am not afraid.
You must live to teach others. This is not the end. It is the beginning. Go, and remember why we fought.
Nala pulled Kensa away, their footsteps echoing into silence. Itsuki was alone. He knelt and scratched words onto a parchment scrap, each letter a deliberate defiance.
Knowledge belongs to no throne. Let her read it and understand.
He slipped through a hidden passage just as torches flared in the street. Cleopatra's soldiers had arrived. Soldiers battered down the door, torchlight flooding the empty workshop. Dust whirled in the sudden glare. Cleopatra herself stepped inside, her face a mask of cold fury at the deserted space.
Search every corner. He could not have taken everything without leaving a trace.
A soldier bent and picked up a scrap of parchment from the dusty floor, holding it out to the queen.
Knowledge belongs to no throne.
Her hands trembled faintly, but her voice remained steady. The silence stretched long.
He has scattered the press like seeds in the wind. I cannot uproot them all.
She crushed the note in her fist, then let it drift back to the floor. For a long moment, she stood alone among the ghosts of ink and ambition, a queen without a victory. Then, with a gesture, she ordered the search to cease, accepting the inevitable. She dismissed the soldiers with a wave, standing alone in the ruin of her ambition.
He played me for a fool. I offered a kingdom, and he chose a scrap of parchment.
She bent and retrieved the note from the floor, smoothing its creases with deliberate care.
To hoard knowledge is to cage a bird that must fly. He was right, and I hated him for it.
The torch guttered. She stood a moment longer, then let the note fall once more.
Recall the harbor patrols. There is nothing more to gain by chasing ghosts.
She walked out, the echo of her footsteps swallowed by the night. The hunt was over. The crumpled note lay in the dust, its ink smeared but its message indelible. Beyond that room, 10 ships sailed under different stars, carrying the press to new shores. Knowledge had outrun the throne. In Athens, a scholar unrolled the plans beneath a marble arch, her eyes widening at the diagrams. In Rome, a former scribe traced the ink formula with trembling fingers, already imagining faster copying. By the harbor of Antioch, 2 scholars whispered over the type sample, hiding it from prying eyes. A Carthaginian metalworker bent over a forge, casting the first lead letters from the notes. In each city, the press began to hum, a rhythm that would not be silenced. Copies of Homer appeared in Corinth, Euclid in Ephesus, each page a small rebellion. The words that had almost become ash now flew across the sea, unbound by any seal. A young girl in a fishing village read a printed poem aloud, her voice carrying on the salt breeze. From Alexandria to the edges of the known world, the press spread faster than any army. The library's legacy was no longer a building. It was an idea, printed and alive. From a wind-scoured ridge above the port, a hooded figure watched sails catch the morning breeze.
There they go, 10 seeds into the wind. I have done what I came to do.
The harbor was a tapestry of masts and distant shouts, but he heard only the silence of a completed mission.
Nala and Kensa will carry on. Timon will guard the vault. My part is finished.
He descended the far slope, leaving the coast behind for the dry, endless interior.
I carry the first printed Euclid in my robe, a reminder that even a single page can outlast a fire.
The road stretched before him, a pale scar across the red earth, leading nowhere and everywhere.
I don't know where this path ends, but I know the world will be different because of what we did.
As the sun dipped low, its gold light caught his figure, a man who had saved not a building, but a universe of thought. He did not look back. In the decades that followed, the printing press multiplied beyond any crown's reach. No army could stop its silent march. Scrolls appeared in Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and Aramaic, each a thread in a new fabric of human thought. Libraries rose where none had stood, Built not by kings but by scholars who had once been outcasts, children learned to read from printed pages, their voices a chorus that echoed across the sea. And in Alexandria, the crumpled note remained where the queen had dropped it, its ink fading, but its message still sharp. It was copied by hand, whispered in secret, carved into stone in a dozen tongues. Knowledge belongs to no throne became a creed for those who believed in the free exchange of ideas. The queen's rage faded into legend, but those 6 words lived on. They outlasted empires, outran armies, and ignited a revolution of the mind. And in the end, they were all the monument Itsuki ever needed. On the empty road, under a sky brushed with violet and gold, Itsuki stopped and turned.
Somewhere beyond that horizon, the words are still multiplying. I can almost hear them.
He reached into his robe and withdrew a folded parchment, worn at the edges but still crisp with ink, the first printed page he had ever held. Euclid's Elements, still legible after all these years.
This scrap started it all. A scrawny scribe, a stolen wine press, and a desperate gamble.
He did not laugh, but the lines around his eyes deepened with a quiet, private satisfaction.
It was worth it. Every sleepless hour, every fear, every loss, the library still lives.
He tucked the page back into his robe, over his heart, and faced the road once more. There were no crowds to witness, no songs to sing, only a man walking, and the quiet certainty of a promise kept. He walked on, and behind him, in 100 places, 100 presses began to turn. The road stretched on, a golden thread through the endless sand, and Itsuki became a speck upon it. The world he had changed did not notice his passing, but it would carry his gift forever. Stars began to prick the violet sky, one by one, as the desert cooled and the man walked on. And then, barely a whisper on the wind, the words that had defied a queen and freed a library. Knowledge belongs to no throne. The phrase lingered in the air, a quiet thunder that would echo through the ages. And on the road, the walker did not pause. He had become part of the story he had saved. The camera pulls back, the figure shrinking until the desert swallows the man. Only the road remains, a pale line under the infinite stars, and then darkness.